into the transmission, ready to pull it out. Get the tranny jack. Most everything's loose, pneumatics loose. Got some crossmember bolts out. Kick down's loose. Most of the bell housing bolts are out. Torque converter's loose. Shift the linkage is off. Hopefully we'll have it out here in just a little bit. And we can stick the 4L80 in. Well, the transmission's out. And like usual, it's getting dark out here. Here's the back of the engine. Back the train lines off, we're not using those. And there's the old original greasy turbo 350. You see it's leaking oil too. Then those up. Here's the cross member, which is weird because the bolt holes don't go through it. Got a piece of rubber on it and a clamp. Kind of a different design. Guess it worked, but the other side. I guess it's time to go get the 4L80 and put in it. Now I went to an undisclosed location and got the transmission. Now I need to install the O-ring. It goes back in there for the lockup converter, and there's the O-ring, a little green O-ring. First I need to get some oil put on there. Put on the converter. Actually dump some in the converter, maybe at least a quart. And once I get this O-ring on, we'll slide the converter in. Then we have the fun part of putting the tranny on the jack. That's why it's in the loader bucket, because I don't feel like lifting that up on that. At least this way we can just kind of slide it on. Make things a little easier. And of course we're out here in the dark again, because if we didn't have any light, it would be dark. Okay, got the little green O-ring on. That's for the lockup converter, if I didn't mention that earlier. Now I'm going to stick a quart of oil and not a squirt of oil in the converter. You don't want to install stuff dry. At least put something in it. Ooh, that drummed all over the place. Made a mess. Yeah, it'd be normal messing with a tranny, you get transmission fluid everywhere. Glug, glug, glug. Drink up. Boop, boop. Oh well, I'll dump the rest in, it might take a while. Well, I got the converter in, ready to slide it onto the stand here, and we'll slide it under and try to put it up in there. Okay, we got the transmission up in there. Now I need to make a cross member. There's the original mounts, which we was thinking about cutting off the frame and sliding them back here and rewelding them and just run the cross member back here. Pretty sure that'll work. Need to hunt a tranny mount. I might have to take the one off of there. I don't think it's in the greatest shape, but at least it should work for mock-up. Dipstick work. Tranny lines are going to be the next problem. You're awful close to the floorboard. You can see it up in there. There you can see them up in there, but I'm going to put some 45-degree angle fittings on there so you can point them out to the front. That's as far as we've gotten at the moment. Okay, got to a good stopping point. Got the cross member figured out. Welded those pieces up in there. It's just resting on it right now. This ain't welded to it either. I want to get a new mount and put in there. The old one's roached. Hasn't fell apart, but it's close to falling apart. Got that side up in there. These bolts are just loose, enough to let the car back down tonight. That should do it on the cross member for the moment. Just to hold the transmission up in there. Hopefully we'll get some parts tomorrow and finish that up. Another look at the Impala in the sky. I think it's about 12:30 in the morning. Alright, back working on the Impala. It's the next day. I'm still out here in the dark working on it. I just got the cross member tab welded on for the transmission mount. She's welded there. That's an energy suspension mount. Actually got her bolted in over here. Plans are to run a gusset across here. Help hold it. I need to take this back out and weld it across the top. Could weld it across the bottom, but I'd rather weld it on the top. I might need some longer bolts over here. Might not, I don't know. But got the transmission lines rooted up in there, or routed up in there. A little light on the subject. Got those 45-degree fittings. Those are hard to see up in there. You can see it there. I see them. Anyways, you can see that fitting up in there to get the lines to point away from the floor. Because when the transmission's all the way up where it's supposed to be, there's not much room up in here. Those are going up that way on the frame there. Once we get this done down here, cross member and stuff, I'll go up and then the lines and hook it up to the tranny cooler. Also, the owner took the yoke and the driveshaft and he's taking it to inland to have it shortened. Need a 58-inch driveshaft with that transmission in it. And that should be perfect. Who knows when we'll get that. Hopefully get it back tomorrow, but I doubt it. Tomorrow's Friday. I doubt they'll get on it that soon. At least when I took mine there from my ramp truck, they didn't get on it that quick. But they might not be as busy right now as they were then. I'm going to try to make these pieces right here, weld them on, and I'll take that out and weld that up. Have to bolt it back in to be done. Well, I was getting to think it could be done here today, but it started raining on me. I picked up all the tools, put them inside. Hopefully this will pass by soon so I can get it done. Not fun working out in the rain. But you gotta do what you can when you can. Alright, stopped raining. Long enough for me to get these gussets back in here. But now it sounds like it's starting to rain again. Put that side up in there. All I got left to do is weld that. Yeah, I'll just weld it on the bottom and then I'll be done. I think I might just do that instead of taking it all back out. That way I don't have to take it out. It should hold underneath there just as good as up there. Nobody's gonna see it. And it's on the ground anyway, except for the ants. And they might be impressed with my welds, or they might say they look like crap. Okay, just welded her up in there. That's on. Everything else just needs to be finally tightened down. Those. You put torque converter bolts in, so you tighten them down. So you'd be getting about done underneath here. Well, the rain picked up again, and I'm calling it quits because it doesn't seem to want to stop for good. You see the rain coming down. I need to pick up my tools so they ain't all drenched. That should do it for today. Alright, back working on the Impala, finishing it up. Let's see. Cross members in. I think I showed that earlier. I'll show it again. I just guess it's welded in there. Got the shifter linkage hooked up. Had to move that back where it was originally mounted up in there because the shifter shaft on a 4L80 is further back than a Turbo 350. Had to modify everything. Had to modify this. This is off the G body. But it angled wrong because the square shaft on a 4L80 is different than a 350. This is the original arm. Had to modify up in there because it really curved there. It's more flat there to clear the floor, which is pretty close, but the floor is also rotten, so that can be moved if need be. Had to clock that different. You can see it's been re-welded. Of course, I had to move that to line up with this, and also had to cut this and shorten it because it was longer, about 1/4 of an inch longer, and it did hook up, but you couldn't get it in low gear. And that's not good when it's manually shifted. Anyways, got the vacuum modulator line on up in there. Got it run up to the carburetor. Torque converter bolts are in. I think I already showed that. What else? Got the transmission line hooked up and bent. You can see its fittings a little bit better in the daylight. And the transmission cooler is hooked back up. See the hose is there. There's the tranny cooler. Run the lines up along there. I'll let it down here to show a better view of that. But basically all that's left is the drive shaft. Still waiting on that. Once we get it, we'll dump some oil in it, see what she does, see if she moves. Hopefully it moves. It works right. Alright, there you get a better view of the transmission lines. And up along there and down here, and then the hoses under there, but it needs to have a clamp up here somewhere. Clamp these two together and then bolt it to the fender well so they stay still. And what else? Got the cap rotor plugs back, the plug wires back on. Vacuum modulator hose hooked up. And down below. You see, that's getting about it for the moment. Need a drive shaft. Besides picking my tools up, putting these lines up somewhere.